Hey players, how you doing? Welcome back to Player's Guide. This week's episode of Player's Guide covers the month of October's retro gaming news. Now this is a new segment on Player's Guide as of last month, and I'm going to be doing this every single month so that you guys can stay up to date on what's going on in the retro scene. Subscribe to the channel if you're interested in finding out more about retro games, because that's what I'm here to talk about. And if you have any other information that I might have missed on the latest retro gaming news, please comment below and let me know, or correct me if I get any of the facts wrong. So October was a very busy month for retro gaming news, a lot busier than I expected it to be. First up, at the beginning of the month, we saw Yooka-Laylee 2 released. Now this game isn't exactly retro, but it is a throwback to the Banjo-Kazooie series, and it's the sequel to the Yooka-Laylee game that was released, I think it was like 2 years ago. So a lot of fans of the Banjo-Kazooie series made by Rare on the N64 are excited for this release. So I thought I'd put it in there. Not everything is necessarily going to be a retro game on the retro gaming news, but it will be somehow related to retro gaming. That being said, there was a Panzer Dragoon remake announced this month, and we don't have too many details on it other than it looks like it's coming to the Switch. I'm not too sure about any of the other consoles. It does look to be like quite a beautiful game, judging by the little clips that we have seen and the screenshots. It is said that there's going to be 7 very detailed, stunning levels in this game. The next game that's got a remaster and was just released was Medieval for the PlayStation, but it's on PlayStation 4 and it's significantly better graphics. You can get this game in 4K. Another game that got a remaster this month is Ghostbusters, which was originally released on the Wii and the PS2. There was 2 different versions. One was more of a cartoony version, and then the other was more of a realistic one. This remake is the more realistic version, and to quote Dan Aykroyd, he actually said that that version is the Ghostbusters 3 that most people were hoping for. So if you're a Ghostbusters fan, chances are you're already playing this game because it was released back on October 4th. A lot of awesome older games and retro games and different throwback games are getting remastered. But what else is happening is we're seeing re-releases of some very popular franchises. This month, we saw Star Wars Pod Racer re-released by Limited Run Games. I don't think that game is still for sale, but you might want to check their website. You may still be able to get a copy. Now, another game that just was announced and will be, actually is for sale as of now, October 24th, is The Lion King on the Super Nintendo and Aladdin on the Sega Genesis. These versions look pretty cool. As far as I know, they are just the same as the versions that already exist. So for me, you know, I liked those games, but there's not a big enough appeal for me to run out and buy them. I feel like this has become a real thing that's gaining a lot of momentum, is the re-releases on physical cartridges for retro systems of a lot of different popular franchises. So we'll see where that goes and how much momentum that those re-releases can continue to have. Now, if you're looking for homebrew games, there were some homebrew games this month too. So Project Blue just hit Kickstarter, so you can go support that on Kickstarter right now. This looks like a single screen Mega Man style type of game. I know the artwork for this was done by Mr. T. His stuff is stunning. Go check this out. The thing with these homebrew games is there's so many good ones. I mean, these damn homebrewers just keep coming out with these awesome games, and I can't keep up with all of them. There's so many out there. But if you like homebrew games, I do have a video on homebrew games that you could check out, and there will be another Homebrew Games episode coming shortly to Player's Guide before the end of the year, I promise. Some other excellent homebrews are Creepy Brawlers and Haunted Halloween 86. Now, these were already released for the Nintendo Entertainment System, but now you can get them on your Switch. They were released, I think, on Steam and some other platforms. I don't know all of them. I think Xbox for Haunted Halloween 86. So they're out there. Don't worry if you don't have a Switch. You can still get these games. You can get them on physical cartridge from Retrotainment Games or Mega Cat Studios, depending on which one you're looking for. They're both good games and seasonal favorites. But it's really cool to see some homebrew NES games getting some love on modern consoles. And the Nintendo Switch, the thing I like about the Switch the most is it's a great platform for indie games and a lot of different throwback games. And there's a few throwback games that have made it to the Switch, such as Valfaris, which I talked a bit about last month. Valfaris made its way, it's already on the Switch. It made its way there on October 10th, but we're going to have to wait a little bit longer for the PS4 version. Reventure, another throwback style game, has 100 different endings, and that was released on Nintendo Switch back on October 8th. I think that one is worth checking out. It looked very interesting to me from what I could tell from the trailers. Polyroll, it looks sort of like a throwback to some of the Sonic the Hedgehog games. This is getting released on the Switch October 29th. So while you're watching this, you could probably go purchase this one on the Switch. I got to see this one and play a little bit of it at the Southern Fried Gaming Expo. So if you want to see some clips of that, Player's Guide has a Southern Fried Gaming Expo video you can check out. Or you can watch the trailer here and see for yourself what the game is about. City Melee Mach was released on the Switch, PS4, Steam, and I'm not too sure about Xbox. But this is a Technos game. It's a throwback to the River City Ransom game, which a lot of retro gamers enjoy. That came out on October 10th, so another game you can pick up right now that came out in October. Ninja Saviors, this is a beat-em-up game, sort of a 16-bit style one. This was released on October 15th. You can get it on your PS4. I don't know all the platforms. I know it's on PS4 right now, and it looks really cool. This game's by Taito, and you know what? You don't hear a lot about Taito unless you're playing older games. And the big retro gaming news of the month is Analogue announces the Analogue Pocket. This looks really nice. My only concern with this is the size of it. I'm hoping it's not too tiny and the buttons aren't too tiny, because although I don't have giant hands, I do have thick fingers, and some of these controllers that they have, like the Joy-Cons on the Nintendo Switch, they're not the best for a lot of adult players. But if it is the right size, this is something to be very excited for. Or if you have tiny hands, you can be excited too. It's going to play Game Boy Color, and Game Boy Advanced, and have a built-in synthesizer. It's going to play most of those games, and there's going to be a cartridge adapter so you can play Atari Lynx, Game Gear, and Neo Geo Pocket Color. So just about every major handheld cartridge released, you're going to be able to play on this thing. And it looks pretty sleek. Like I said, my only concern about this is the size, which I don't know too much about. I couldn't find any specs. If you can find them out there, link them below in the comments. Anyways, players, that is it for October's retro gaming news. The month is not quite over, so, maybe some later news will come out at the very end of the month and during Halloween that'll trickle over into November's retro gaming news. But if you're interested in the retro gaming news and you got news to share, check out the Player's Guide Discord. We update the gaming news, and it's not just retro gaming. There's lots of other gaming news, and there's lots of retro gaming discussion going on there. Also, check out Player's Guide on Twitch. I'm streaming there every Saturday night, sometimes Friday nights, and we got At Home Dad Gamer, we got D-Pad Danny, and more streamers to be announced in the near future. So if you like retro games and you like hanging out and you want a place to discuss retro games, you came to the right place. Check out the links below for all the details on where you can find more Players Guide. Later, players.